Good morning, traders. Today is Friday, November 11th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Sorry, I am running late this morning. All right, well, what do we have here in the market? Well, right now we are filling the gap. All right, that was the first order of business. So the question is, can we find support here around yesterday's high, 39.65? If we can find support here, that is good for continuation to the upside as what we call a gap and go. If we do not find support at yesterday's high, we may find it at the base of the spike, 39.39. The base of the spike, often if the high can hold, can hold. So the market may not quite have the buyers yet, but a pullback down to there is what it needs for that continuation to the upside. So I would describe myself as looking for a gap and go anywhere inside the spike. But if we break below 39.39 and we start to trade back down into yesterday's range more, then obviously we do not have a gap and go and the momentum is over. The spike from yesterday is a sign that the momentum is likely to continue, and the gap up today is confirmation of that sign. So things are bullish here without a doubt. And we just got to see if we still have momentum. Okay, with yesterday's high breaking, the next order of business is to test the overnight low at 39.37 and see, do we find some buyers there? Can we just dip below the overnight low and then pull back up? If not, looking to test the base of that spike. One sign of a gap and go here today would be if the market is able to push its way back through the opening price again, 39.72. If we can find support up here, push our way back through that opening price, that would be a sign that we still have momentum. But if half back acts as resistance and we can't get back up there, well, then we need to pull back looking for support. Gotta love a super tight range right on a previous day's high. Little tug of war for the market. Kathy, support level? Support is 39.39, the base of the spike up. I mean, they may just dip below the overnight low. Sometimes all it needs to do is test a level, right? So it just pokes down there. And because the test doesn't bring in new sellers down there, it can turn around and head back up, right? So it's not really support. It's more like just a lack of sellers piling on. So that's one potential scenario, right? That it just dips below that overnight low and then it immediately pulls back up. But if it doesn't do that, the major support is the spike, 39.39. Nap, does your chart show yesterday's trend beginning from HB 3903? I'm not sure what you're talking about. No, yesterday the trend was actually started in the overnight, right? The gap up was the trend, was the beginning of the trend. So they actually started the trend from where the overnight was balancing all night, waiting for that CPI news. That CPI news, that's what triggered the beginning of the trend. And that trend lasted all day. We got cessation, but that literally only lasted for like an hour. And then the trend started once again. So that momentum from the break of the CPI is still in the market right into the close. And the gap up this morning is a sign that we still have that momentum this morning as well, right? That momentum is still in the market from CPI. Oh, then there was a pullback to halfback. Yeah, I don't. I would have had to see it at the time. You know, halfback is moving throughout the day. But you could be right. Halfback is commonly support. John Lash, Michigan sentiment at 10. Fucking A. There's always something. All right, so we'll keep an eye out for that little flush of chaos at 10. Little midday murderbot action. All right, so that's the test of the overnight low. So the question becomes, do new sellers pile on from here? Does this start to make more and more people start to panic and exit their longs? Do more and more people start to pile on short down here? If so, we're looking to test the base of the spike. If not, they should poke right back up above yesterday's high. We can, of course, look at the ticks to see that momentum. So here you go. Can they get back above the zero line or do they hold it below? Man, tight ranges today. Tight ranges. Obviously, terrible taper here increases the odds they're going to need to break it lower. Do I consider the base of the M single prints as support? I do not. I see the base of the spike. I guess technically, yeah, there could be some support of the base of the M single prints, but I just wouldn't consider it substantial. The real support is the base of the spike. And I have tested what is the base of the spike. Is it the M period or is it the L period? And I can say with confidence it is the L period, not the M. Okay, so the ticks broke lower, and we got new sellers piling on here below that overnight low. So that increases the odds. We need to pull back to test the base of that spike, as I've been talking about all morning, 39.39. If that does not hold and we start to trade lower, we start to trade into yesterday's value area, this blue box here, I will begin to get bearish for further downside continuation. As that will be a sign that the moment, I shouldn't say bearish, I should say neutral. That will be a sign that the momentum to the upside is over. So in a perfect world, we'd like them to find support on yesterday's high as a sign we still have momentum, but we will also accept support at the base of the spike as a sign of momentum. But if they don't have it there, then we know the momentum's gone, right? And what does excess lead to? What does momentum to the upside lead to? It leads to balance. So when it's over, we either go sideways at higher prices as a way to balance off the excess, or we have a large pullback in price. So the base of the spike here will be very important. If they want to keep the trend going, they got to find support there. Trade hard. First time here. Welcome. Happy to have you. Hopefully we can change things for you and make it a bit easier. Saiti, when is a spike a spike? Is there a minimum number of ticks, or is it just telling us about the momentum, or could there be more information inside a spike? Yeah, so basically a spike is defined by any new move higher or lower that the market makes in the last hour of the day, only if it closes higher or lower. So in the last hour of the day yesterday, which was the L period, we spiked up, right? We pushed above the high prior to that, creating a new high in the last hour of the day. Okay? That's this area right here. We closed inside that area. We closed inside the spike. So what that tells us is that's the market waving at us. It's being like, hi. Boy, look at that hand. That's a hand. It's the market waving at us, screaming at us. hey guys, just want you to know there is still momentum here. If you're thinking the market has to pull back, it doesn't. We've still got momentum, right? That's what that's telling us. So then when we open higher this morning, when we open above yesterday's high and we have a gap up, that is also the market waving at us. Hey guys, just so you know, there's still momentum. So that's very, very bullish to open above the spike. Now, if we'd have opened inside the spike, let's say we'd have opened, somewhere in here, well, that would still be bullish because it would still be confirming that we still have momentum. But it's not quite as bullish as if we'd have opened above. And then if we'd have opened below the spike, let's say we'd have opened down here, well, that would have been, the word bearish is not the right word, right? It just basically means, okay, we're not as bullish as we thought. The market was yelling at us at the end of the day yesterday, hey, I'm bullish. But now it's saying, nope, changed my mind. Not as bullish anymore. So opening above the spike, if it's a spike up, is the most bullish. Inside it is bullish and below it is the least. And that is how we look at it. And obviously exactly the opposite if it's a spike down. All right, well, you got to love it when somebody asks, can the base of the M period single prints act as support? Charles says no, and then just like that, that exact level acts as support. So if the market is able to pass back through the opening price here, I see this as bullish. As a, again, it's not technically a gap and go, but the same type of momentum. And I will then stay bullish as long as we stay inside the overnight range. This low is weak, though. So there you go, passing back through the open. Which is bullish. Only 65 likes. Only 65 likes. Come on, guys, it's Friday. It's okay to push the thumbs up button. All right, so now we've got some resistance above us at the halfback for the overnight, 39.78, and then in the node of volume just above it, 39.82. If we're able to work our way through that resistance there, I'll be looking to target the overnight high. And as I said, I will remain bullish as long as we're above that overnight low. They tried to take the market back down into yesterday's range, and then they immediately pulled it right back up. That is a sign there are buyers in this market who want to do business. So as long as they continue to do business in here, I'm happy to be a bull, looking for continuation. Still 20 likes short of changing the banner. There's literally like 80 of you who could push a button right now and change the destiny of everyone in the chat, henceforth and forever. One small click for you. One giant piece of information for the chat. John says, can't wait for the Michigan sentiment to come smack it down. Yeah. If new information enters the market and that changes and the market starts to trade back below the level I've marked, then I will no longer be bullish. You're absolutely right. But if the sentiment survey comes out and the market rockets higher, boy, I'll be glad I had some perspective ahead of time, won't I? That's what trading is. Nine 99 likes. There we go. Yay! Boo, boo, boo. All right, guys, thank you. Not that I really needed to change the banner, but I'm bullish. Yoda is gaming. Could this be a moment where the markets are starting to recover during a recession, or is it more likely just another bear rally? Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not I'm not the guy to come to for those questions. Um, he's asking, is this a change in the market? Has the sentiment changed and we can start to create a little momentum to the upside? I would say don't count on it until we break the larger downtrend on the daily. Let me turn this off. So like potentially, yes, right? This area in here, well, I need that on. This area in here was a lot of balance for the market. Okay. So if the market wanted to make a good low on a bigger picture, this is a way it could do it, right? It came in here, it built some support in this area, it came back down, it retested that area, it got a capitulation. I do not feel like this is a real capitulation because it happened in the overnight market, not in the regular trading hours, but whatever. It is technically a big wick at the low, so that could be capitulation. If that were the case, you'd expect some more sideways move inside the balance. And then when they break out, that could be the breakout, right? This could be the start of a new set of momentum to the upside. It is absolutely possible. But with the way, conditions are macro right now, I wouldn't count on it until we broke this downtrend over here. So we'll probably come up and meet that somewhere around 4,100, and we'll find out up there if we've really had a change in sentiment or if this is just a bear market rally. But for what it's worth, chart patterns wise, that is a good sort of bottoming pattern. Retest, capitulation, momentum. I mean, that's what you want to see. But I'm a day trader. I really only focus on what's happening over the next few hours because that's really all I'm good at. So don't take my advice on anything longer term. Yoda says, all right, I'll go ahead and invest my parents' retirement savings at 10x leverage. Let's take a look at Bookmap and see if that volume. Yep, there you go. Volume disappearing. You know they're setting up for some sort of crazy move if they disappear all the bots right before a big news event. So I suspect we're about to get some volatility here. Boom, here we go. And they created a poor low. Sons of guns. You bastards. All right, well, now poor high and poor low. These bots just keep debating. They can't decide what to do. Will these bots take the market higher or will they murder you? Do. Would I have time to describe the definition of a poor high and a poor low? Rafiki, I always have the time. Hakuna Matata, my friend. Yes, a poor high and a poor low is when one TPO from the same day comes up to either the high or low of the day, and it stops within a single letter of the previous high or low. So you have to get 2 letters away for it to be a good high. And the poor high means that the market will likely push away and then come back and repair. I would ignore the poor low here just because it happened, that was that little flush of volatility. So I think the poor high is probably a better target than the poor low. But having both at the same time is indecision. They don't know what to do. Should they pump it or should they dump it? Which will be more painful for you? Do. Noreen says, big drop in consumer sentiment. Yeah, but it's almost Christmas. People are going to buy even if they don't want to. Even if they think everything's overpriced and they hate it and they're upset, they're still going to shop. Bitcoin back under 17. I'm telling you, 14. Here we come. Mark says, I prefer Rhode Island sentiment. How would one describe Rhode Island sentiment? Yeah, Rhode Island sentiment would be like, I don't care about the economy. Have you seen these potatoes I grew? I don't know. The Shaw, that FTX guy really fucked it up. Yeah. Yeah, that's a correct statement. That guy did exactly what he was preaching was wrong with the traditional finance system. It's hilarious. But I actually think long term it's good. You got to shake out all the bad participants. It'll force regulators to start making some rules, which will make bigger institutional players more willing to participate. So it's actually good in the long run, but not for the price. Chris, what's wrong with McHenry Community College sentiment? I always say McHenry is the Harvard of community colleges. All right, I'm marking the B period high as weak once again because it was all sellers there. And I am looking for support to hold here at the overnight low. If we pass back down below that overnight range, I will be back to neutral. But I think there are buyers waiting here. Charles, what if A and B are the same price? That is also a poor high. It's got to be 2 letters above or below to be a good high. So if it's anywhere inside of here, it's poor. It's got to be at least 2 above or 2 below to be good. Rafiki, 1 full point. Yeah, but the reason I say 2 letters as opposed to saying a point is because it used to be 2 ticks was the measurement, but then markets got way more volatile and I had to switch to it being 1 point. So if markets get even more volatile, it may become more than a point. If markets become less volatile, they go back to the way they used to be. It might go back to just 2 ticks. So I used to always go by letters, and then I adjust the tick increment on the software based on the volatility. Michael says, I can't remember the last time I saw a strong reaction to the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. There's always a reaction, but it doesn't ever change anything. I've never seen it like cause the market to reverse in a big, powerful way, but it does always have like a flood of volatility. It always has like a reaction, but it's generally just those news bots trading for like a couple of minutes and then it's over. It's the news algos. Okay, so once again, we got some resistance here in this little node around the overnight point of control in the 3982 area. But once we're able to poke through that, I will be looking to test the overnight high. Bit of a slow grind to get there because we also have resistance at both those single base of the single prints down. So there's resistance there and there. But if we can get through this node, I'm pretty sure we're testing that overnight high. It just may take a bit of work to get there. Mark, I wonder if we get a air quotes normal range today. You know, less than 250 points. Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems that way. Martin, could I ask when you start and finish your sessions? I'm from Australia. G'day, mate. And mine don't look like yours. Mainly the high from yesterday. Yeah. So I have a specific way I do mine. It's a little different than most people. For my regular trading hours profiles, it's exactly from 9:30 to 4 p.m. New York time, American East Coast time. And then everything else from 4 p.m. in the afternoon until 9:30 a.m. the next morning, I put into an overnight range. And I do this very much on purpose because I have found, in particular, when you're talking about testing previous day's highs and lows, the higher low that was created at 4 p.m. is a significantly more reliable one than what's created at like 4:15 or whatever. Some people like to include the runoff period after the market closes. I have found that is not reliable for previous day high and low in terms of support resistance. So for me, at the close at 4 p.m., that's it. That profile's done. All right, so now as we start to work our way through this resistance here, like I said, that increases the odds that we're looking to test the overnight high. I don't think we're going to head straight there because both these levels, 91 and 96, should also act as resistance. So there should be a bit of chop and grind to get through them. But we're going to do the same thing with the overnight high that we did with the overnight low, right? We tested the overnight low earlier, pushed below there to see could we bring in new sellers and take the market lower. We could not. So now we'll try with the overnight high. We'll push up above that overnight high, and then we'll see, can we bring in new buyers up there for continuation? If not, we pull back in. So getting through this resistance, in my mind, increases the odds. The market wants to run that test and find out, are there new buyers above the overnight high? Yoda. What does it mean when the news says X trillion dollars have been wiped out of the stock market? Does it mean the money moves from one person to another? Or is that how much the stocks lost value? It's the total market cap, right? So the money didn't disappear. It moved from one thing to another thing, but it moved out of that market. So if they sold, you know, X trillion number of stocks, right? So if they pulled $1 trillion out of the stock market today, they put it somewhere. That $1 trillion most likely did not just become cash. So they would have moved it into bonds or moved it into, commodities or whatever. It can just become cash, but the big players, they can't really sit in cash because they're required to beat the market, and cash always underperforms. All right, guys. Well, with that, I am ending the live stream here. Thank you so much for joining us. Another week of just absolute chaos in the markets. Another fun, interesting learning opportunity. I look forward to seeing you all here Monday morning. If you've been digging what you've been seeing, you might consider learning how to read the market profile for yourself. There is a link for the e-course at the top of the description down there below. And that e-course is fully encompassing everything you need to know to understand how to read this market profile chart. The very chart that I use for an edge every single day. So thanks again, and we will see you tomorrow morning, or Monday morning. Thanks a lot. Members of the brigade, let's set sail.